and they'll want to hear the recording.
Oh, shoot. Now we can't talk about personal things any longer.
That's right. Well, as long as you don't mind them recorded, that's all that matters. But yeah, excited about getting into the next phase of digitizing with the 2007 units, because there's a whole lot of seasons of these units that are out there, and it'll just be nice to get more of some of these projects done. So I don't know, did you all have a chance to look at the digitizing guide that I did?
Briefly.
Yeah,
Yes.
I did. Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. I thought
Right now.
I'd go over the map with you briefly. That Esri just came out with a revised form system that you can use that makes the data entry, I think, a lot more user-friendly and attractive rather than that kind of list. It makes it a lot easier to build the forms, I'll tell you that. What the form y'all were using earlier for the bunker in the front yard was an absolute nightmare to build. This one, you can interact with it better, and it has more of the functionality that you come to expect in 21st century databases. So what I'll do is I will go ahead and share screens with you all. And let's see, bring this one over here. And the guide has you know, all the relevant links in it, just to give you kind of a bird's eye view of this. And I'm going to try to keep this up to date. These are the various folders that are uploaded and ready to go. I'm actually going to be adding another one called Dolly's Midden. And that one, of course, I need to load all the documents, and it has not been relabeled. And one thing I was thinking is that with Fenceline, let's see, with Fenceline South, I think there's only a couple of units left. Hello, Beth.
Hello.
There's only a couple of units left in Fenceline South that need to be relabeled. But as soon as we get that one done, you all could go ahead and start digitizing, because I'd like to have you all get into the digitizing process for the 2007 units, just to test drive it and make sure that it's all, you know, what I've created is compatible. And if there's any issues, we work them out before we bring in a larger group. So for the Fenceline Grotto, that one is ready to go. Fenceline Grotto, you all have relabeled. There's a couple of units in there that you all have some questions on. And if I bring that one up right here, let's see, Fenceline Grotto, I've got this one ready to digitize. So you've got all the folders here of the units that have been relabeled. So these, you know, are completely relabeled. The files are ready to go. And there's a couple of problem folders that I need to look at here. And actually there isn't. I got, no, I know where they are. They're hidden down here, relabel problems. They're right here, and I need to work on these guys. Looks like they're ones from Pat. So I'll take a look at these and get these fixed. And I see Pat and Yasmin are here. Hello, you two. How are y'all doing? But what we can do is we can, you know, you can start with, you know, all these, put your name on it, and then start to, you know, make them in progress. But for where the map is, that is over here on the ArcGIS map. And you know, as normal, what you want to do is open up your Google sheet that has the in this case the grotto in it. And I think there is a column right now. Oh, where did all this stuff go? It looks like, oh, it looks like something odd happened here, where this got moved down. I don't know how that happened. Let me cut this and bring it back up here. So it has, we have headers, insert above, insert above. See if I can paste this back. Nope. I must have unhighlighted it. Hold on here. Sorry. Copy. And there we go. So I'll put in a previous, the previence has been checked on these guys. So what you'd want to do is, if you had any problems with the digitizing, is to put in the under digitizing notes, any questions you might have with each stratum. But then when you go to the actual map itself, you can get to that from enter the information into the GIS map. You go right here, and this brings up the map. And in this case, we want to look at 1334 right here, the first one on here. And what we'll do is you can go to the map right here, and you can actually search. So the maps are basically the same, just things are in a little bit different places with the new layout. So it's kind of like, you move kitchens, all the kitchen implements are still there. They work the same. They're just like in a different drawer. So in this case, you just kind of have to look around the form to find them. So search, instead of being in the upper right, it's right here. So you click on search, and then we'll want to do units. Otherwise, it'll look for whatever unit number you're looking all over the globe and send you to Iraq or something like that. So enter in 1334, and it'll zoom into right where 1334 is. And then once you're there, what you can do is you can go to edit. And when you click on edit, it says edit a feature or add a feature. If you already had a feature, you could click edit, and you could say if you had your computer went down, you could finish digitizing it. Or if you didn't like it, you could go in and delete it. But if it's a new feature, like this one doesn't have any colors on it, so we know there's no stratum that have been digitized, just click on add a feature. It says click on map to start drawing. And in this case, with stratum O, this one is going to be the whole unit right here. So this full 5x5, except it looks like there's a little bit on the edge there. That path is clipped. So there's a little bit that's not there where the path is. And if you're wondering what O looks like when it was a unit, of course, you can go, it looks like there's no O photo, but there's an A photo. And you can see where the path is up here. A little bit of this got cut off for the path. It looks like they kept a bit of a large bulk right there. So with going back to this, the stratum form for O, this card, this sheet, that, instead of being a card, it's a sheet now. And what's great is a lot of these variables correspond to what's on the form. So instead of having to hunt in the description for the soil color, for the soil texture, for the inclusions, all that stuff, it's all characterized right here. And in the guide for digitizing, I put in this sheet, and I think this is from 1334, and put all these numbers in for what field these go with. So you can go in and start picking through these and start digitizing it. But back to the form right here, or back to the map. It looks like it took away oh no, it's still ready for us to digitize. So let's see, let's go back to this drawing right here, 1334-0, and this is north, which is oh man, this is all messed up. It's north is to the right, so this is,
Yeah, you gotta turn.
Yeah, you gotta kind of turn it. That's kind of annoying. So it's basically, this path is in the northwest corner of the unit. And so let's get to the map. Oh, hold on. The Zoom thing is blocking my way. So north is up and it's up in this direction. So the north west corner is right here. So I'm going to digitize this guy like so. And like this. and then double click. And then you can start entering in the information. So 1334, the stratum is O0, no feature. The project is what's on this sheet. So if we look on the sheet here, the project is Fence Line Grotto. So that gets typed in. That's always unique. Fence Line Grotto. Site is already labeled. The area is going to be front yard. And then the location is Fence Line Grotto. And then, you know, you start entering in all this other information, just like you did before, except it's all laid out on this sheet a little bit better. So the northing and easting is right there. And I'm not going to go through and digitize all this stuff unless you want to, because it's hard to do this on the Zoom screen, you know, because usually are using two screens or my phone, you know, to see the data, or some of y'all print out the sheets to make it easier. But for all this, there are a number of, you know, that for these guys, the northing and easting are just entered as numbers. The datum, northing and easting are the same way, that they're straight off the form. The open date, that's just the date that's on the form. So you can put that in, you don't need to worry about the time. The thickness is, again, that range of thickness, just like you did in the other forms, you know, the minimum and the maximum depth. And then what I've done for some of these is, like for tools, I've grouped these together. There's this line right here. And if you collapse this, you can see how it's grouped together. These trowel, shovel, mattocks, and small tools are all in this one area. And if you look at the form, where the tools is let's see, tools are 14, 15, and 16. So that's all right here under tools number 6. And so tools, it's shovel, not screened. And then sometimes it'll be shovel, trowel, and just break it up 50, 50, 50. If there's 3 terms listed, just do it 30%. It's, you know, it doesn't have to be exact. It's the best guess. And let's see some of the other ones. Screening type, this is a drop down. That's almost always going to be dry 1/4 inch screen. The excavation type is the same as it's been. If it's just a single layer, it's stratigraphic. But if you have like a B1 and a B2, that's where it's arbitrary. So, you know, break that up the same way you did before. The discussion is, for that one, the discussion is, let's see, discussion is number 20, which is under other. And so that's because a lot of this other data that used to be in the discussion is already incorporated in. You have a question, Kathy? Oh, you're muted, Kathy.
Yes, but there's also on the form where you see down where 33 is, you have your discussion. And I think I've seen some cards, maybe you'll have something in there as a discussion rather than being the other discussion. Because usually the other tends to be notes kind of thing, or is this where it goes? So the other is actually, so what is your discussion when you go further down?
Oh, I see, your discussion. Yeah, that could be, I'll change that and add that. You can add those together. That's a good,
Okay.
that makes sense. I think that's how it's supposed to work, Kathy. Thanks for noting that.
Okay.
Because yeah, there is a notes field, and that's number 56, other comments.
Okay.
And that one is, yeah, that one's under notes. Yeah, and that just kind of notes as a catch-all. And then, yeah, there's no place for other, because other got left out later on in the changing of these forms. So yeah, number 10, and then also this one right here, your discussion. I'll add that one. I'll change this to add that in. Let me see, I'll do that right now. I've got the actual pre-scanned version right here and just change that guy, change that. I'm gonna rescan that.
So what are you going to change it to, Matt? Are you going to put 10 in? You're going to put 20 for both of those, or just take off 20?
I'll put 20 for both of those.
Okay.
And so you can just combine it.
Right.
Because it's not consistently filled out. 10, the other, and then your discussion. Sometimes it's filled out, but oftentimes it isn't. So it's kind of hit or miss.
Okay.
But it's not, but like color and texture, that's always going to be there. That's always going to be there. And that's why there's a specific place for that. And then the physical below and a physical above, that's the same as it's always been. The compactation, this is, there's a specific one for that, and that's always going to be those terms that I've got on the form right here, which is yeah, it looks like I need to, this one says
What does that say?
compactation is normal. Yeah, I need to add a term to this one. I'll add to that list.
Because in the past, what we were working on was, there was no compaction.
Yeah, there was no compaction before. Absolutely.
What does that mean, compaction? So does that mean you're digging in not a virgin area, but a fill area that's been compacted? I don't understand what that term is.
Compaction refers to, when you look at the list here, is all these different characteristics. If it's I think normal is soft, because that, or no, normal is between soft and firm, but it's pretty subjective. But when you're digging, the soil texture describes the constituent elements of sand, clay, and loam, sand, clay, and silt. But you can have a like a silty loam that has been compacted from, maybe it was part of a road, and there's no place to describe that unless you have compaction.
Okay, I got you. So what it is, it's what you're digging into. What is the type of soil? Is it stiff? Is it firm? Is it soft? In other words, it's those conditions. All right. I got you.
It's just recording that, is if it's just what not texture, but what the just how compact it is.
Yeah,
so if it's a topsoil that's had lots of variation,
right,
it's going to be either somewhat soft or very, very soft.
Yeah,
if it's something
because when I've been down there with Dennis, usually it's pretty gosh darn firm, but then all of a sudden you will hit some areas that are soft, so that would be a difference, I guess, between firm and soft. So
yeah.
Okay.
And
I don't know if I would add a value for normal. I mean, normal is pretty.
I know normal. Now we get rid of that one later on, but
Right.
I need to put it in here just because it's a category. I mean, how are you going to interpret normal as soft or firm? I need to add that to the list. So, and this is where the values, what you'll find is the values that are in the Google form are what we've been using recently. But you've got, since 2007, we've had 14 years of work that we've done. So we've revised it. And so I need to go in and change some of these or add some categories. And this is fortunately just on your all's form, because I wouldn't want to add normal to what we're doing today, because that would mess everybody up.
Gotcha.
So that's why I'm doing this separately from what the crew is using today. And then under color, and this is where like color has like 3 different values. And so that's where I've grouped it into these categories. So color is the breakdown on the color line. The color is the actual description of the color. Hue is the first part of that hue and chroma, and then chroma is the last bit of that. So on the and this is just like it was on the card. Yeah, Kathy.
Yeah, okay, so previously, and usually in the discussion on the old cards would be, yellowish brown, and then there would be the Munsell numbers and things like that. Do we want that repeat? And we used to drop the Munsell numbers, but then put them in the form. So when we get to the discussion, do you want us to bring back what it was yellowish red loam or something? If it's not in the discussion lines,
Oh crap, no, you're absolutely right, Kathy. This is what this discussion is. Oh, okay. I will move this down. Thank you.
Okay.
Kathy. This is why we have these meetings, so y'all can set me right. Yes,
Right.
I will move discussion down. I forgot about that. Is it more often than not, you've got a description of the soil that you've got. The first is the color description and the texture, but then you've got like 3 different other soil types discussed in there, and that's what goes under discussion. So I'm gonna fix what's in the guide right now. So is this meeting for, who's the teacher in this meeting? I think it's you all. Who's the teacher?
We just used the old one so much, we know what information. It's just that your example didn't have that information that normally, it's like you would
It
see
did not
that.
have that information.
It did not
Yeah,
have that information.
you're absolutely right.
He keeps adding and changing drawers on us, Kathy.
I know.
I know. Well, it makes me want to. It makes me wonder on this. On this, if there's any examples where I'll have to look and see if there's examples like that. For right now, I'm gonna look to move the discussion. I'll send you all a note about that.
Okay.
I just had a post-it note here. There. Look. Yeah, look up discussion.
So Matt, as you're making that change, are we still
Mhm.
going with the, like we have in the past, that the card overrules everything else? In other words, if it's something on the Google data sheet that's not in compliance with the card, we still go with the card, then make the note on our forms?
Yeah, that's how it should be. Yeah, there's going to be there are some cases like where you've got the like we're looking at compaction, this guy, and if like normal isn't on here, you're gonna have to tell me that, and I'll have to add it, because you can't type anything in this because it's a drop-down menu.
Right.
And we use a drop-down menu in this case because we don't want to have, one of you all doing all lowercase for firm and then everybody else doing one upper, the uppercase letter, because those are different values in GIS. So we want to have it be consistent. And the same with the colors and then the hue and the chroma.
Right.
And then, texture, it's the same that you're getting at, Kathy, in the discussion. This is the first texture listed, but there are cases where there's multiple ones listed, and we'll need to. That's what will go into the discussion. Now for stone inclusions, architectural and sediment inclusions, this is all taken from your the inclusions line, which is number 5. So that's all inclusions right here. And in this case, 1% angular greenstone pebbles. That's going to be under stone inclusions. And then if it was like 1%, brick pebbles or fragments, that would go under architectural. And then sediment would be, if there is ash inclusions or charred wood, anything that's not architectural or stone. So it's the same as what it's been before. And then the transition description, that's its own line. That's number 9 right here. Transition, it says sharp increase in quartz and greenstone, angular pebbles, and smooth. And that's just describing what the transition was based on and whether it was like a gradual change or a sharp change, and what the surface of that is. And this is all described in that stratum guide that I put into the guide for digitizing. So that's a new stratum guide for the 2007 season. Let's see, interpretation. That is the number 33 in the form, which is your interpretation plus the checked interpretation. So you just combine those two lines. That's your interpretation, and then this one right here, these two, just type this one out and then put a semicolon and put that one in. And then finds, this one is actually going to be kind of cool because this is one that's all numeric, and we'll be able to, this is going to help a lot with trying to find missing samples, that might have been missing from years ago. For this one, this is the back of the form, and this one is this area right here of bone, ceramic, glass, metal, nail, and then architectural material, and then everything else just typed out. And this is one of these categories where, it's all grouped together. Like if you collapse this group, it's like that. When you expand it, it's all these guys right here. And this is where, this line shows you where the next group begins, which gets into additional photos, and then excavator, recorder, and supervisor. And then any questions about that? Yeah, Pat. Oh, you're muted, Pat.
Okay. When we were working off the cards, if there were multiple sample bags, we would put multiple numbers under each type of sample. We do the same thing here, because sometimes there's more than one of each type.
Exactly. Yeah. Do the same thing here. So you can put, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, comma, 7, 8.
Okay.
And just put it separated by commas.
Okay.
And the only thing we have different here is that you can list, like for water screen and also no-see-um. If you look at the guide right here under environmental samples, it has the inventory number and then the number of gallons. And like a sheet that has that on it. Let's see if. Nope, it's probably
Yeah, that's it.
Huh?
1334B. Is that the one you're using in here?
That's the one. I was just looking for one. Number? That's the one. I was looking for one that actually had a sample taken.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like none of these have a sample for the water screen, but suffice to say, you'd have the inventory number and then the number of gallons, and just mark that in as well as a dash. That's what I've got on the form right here under this. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then dash, and then 3, and then a comma after that if there's multiple ones. And then gallons excavated, that's straight off the form. Notes is kind of a catch-all for anything else that's not like we did before, for everything else that's not there wasn't a category for. I think that's gonna, I think notes, I think I'm gonna need to change that. Add in, like, put the other and the, your discussion into that one. So there'll be a couple of places that notes, that notes will be filled in from. What now is listed as number 20 in the guide, I'm gonna make that one into 56. Because the discussion is gonna be the discussion of other textures and colors for the excavation. So I'll change that. Yeah, Kathy.
Matt, yeah, also on notes, you know, you often found all kinds of weird things like previously, like on the back of the cards, or, and they'll be in different fields, obviously, but things like, you know, if there is no screen or another type of screening and you would have to put down that there too would fit in notes, you know, but if it's not one of the drop-down screenings, you know, you have to explain that one.
Yeah, anything that's not caught in the digitizing in another field would be good for that.
Okay, then I have another question going back to the inclusions.
Mhm.
Can we assume that if there is inclusions, they would only be listed there, and that, you know, previously in the discussion would be things like malted with 40% of charred wood and something, 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 you know, I mean, that also can be also added to the inclusion notes. Those, remember, we used to do those. Yeah.
Yeah, that if when you look at the categories for inclusions,
It's really handy that they should be just where they are on these new cards, you know, rather than.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we don't see other things popping up, not knowing, you know, what's we're gonna encounter.
Yeah, you're right. Let me check on that. Let me look and see for the sediment inclusions, if that was I will check to see if inclusions is where like the other types of soils that were in there were put. And I'll put a note in Slack about that. So I'll put it into the guide, but I'll also make sure to send you all a message over Slack about where that goes. Because you're right, that might be where what inclusions is for, and it includes a couple of different things. So I'll resolve that and get y'all an answer for that one. So, what I need to do is go through the stack of sheets and just find some examples of that, and see how that was done. And then for the unit form, opening photo, and plan view, that's again the file name that is out of the Google Drive. And if you could just copy and paste that, that'd be great. So, but yeah, this is helpful. I got into the spend a lot of time making this form, but I missed the boat in terms of the inclusions to see where that went. It totally slipped my mind to check that one out. So thanks for doing a course correction on that.
Matt, you scroll past something that said gallons, a number space where we put the number of gallons. Keep going. Yeah. Where was it?
Yeah, gallons excavated.
Okay, so do we not then put, like, if we had a bag number and it said it had 9 gallons, do we put do we still do that? Say, let's say we had, the artifacts and we had 9 gallons or something like that. So what do we put here in this number excavated? What are we looking at for total?
That's this one right here for dry 1/4 inch volume.
Okay, do you want a total on that, or do you want that 6, 3, 3, 3,
Make a total on that.
Make a what?
Make a total on that one.
Okay, the total. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'll put that in here.
Okay.
Uh,
What you're saying is that we no longer have bags, we have gallons.
Or buckets.
Oh,
yeah, it's the number.
Buckets.
Let's see that. Let's see what is on here. Oh shoot, where did it go? Yeah, it looks like this is the number of gallons. Yeah, it's the number of gallons.
So no longer buckets, gallons.
Yes, no longer buckets. Mhm.
and chances are, if there might be a note, let's say by artifacts, that there might be a number like 6 buckets right there separate too.
Yeah, that's the case with this one right here. Let me find a feature,
Okay,
and I know that would have and of course I'm not going to be able to find one right off the bat now that I'm looking for one.
oh,
Let's see. Oh, come on. Yeah, here we go. This one features 798. So
Okay.
this one has this inventory number 11626 had 3 gallons. So in this case, under H2O water screen, you put 11626-3.
makes sense. That makes very much sense. Yeah.
-3 to
Yeah.
indicate the bucket count
That's the number of gallons.
or gallons.
Yeah, the number of gallons there. This is where we moved away from bucket count, because you know a bucket could hold 1 gallon, it could hold 5 gallons, or anything in between. So we started using gallons at this point.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Right.
what
I'm
I'm
not
gonna do.
sure I followed what you just did. So you have the total of gallons that you would put in one line, but then you put a -3 for the specific gallons on the other water screen.
Yeah, because that's how they're listed right here. Because this is the amount of dry 1/4-inch gallon. This is the number of gallons that were screened through 1/4-inch screen. And that's separate from what was water screened, you know, either as window screen or no CM or 1/4-inch. This dry 1/4-inch, that's where we got the artifacts and the arc mat from. They go in the bags, like when you do the screening.
And
That's why it's a separate line.
And you're going to clarify that in your guide? What you just said about the -3?
Yeah, that one, let me see if I have that one in the guide. 49 and 53. 49, yeah. Number and number of gallons.
Yeah, thanks. Because I'll forget that in a heartbeat as soon as we get off of here.
Yeah. And I'm going to check this, the discussion and the one for inclusions, sediment inclusions, because it looks like you're right, Kathy, and looking at this one, how it was used before. The sediment inclusions are the modeling. In this case, 30% red, 2.5 OIR clay modeling, and etc. So I think the sediment inclusions is where that goes. And then the discussion, yeah, the discussion is, I will look up and see what needs to go here. Because that's all encapsulated in these various guys right here. I'll figure out what discussion is supposed to do. And I'm trying to, what did discussion used to be? Y'all remember?
Well, there was a discussion line, in fact, we would duplicate some things, so it would have a lot in there. And it will say, the type of soil, the Munsell numbers, and went on and on and on and on until you got down to line. That's how we broke it up.
Okay.
It was kind of formulaic. It was like below zero,
Mhm.
and then it discussed the stratum of interest, and then it had down to, and then after the down to part, that part was the what was that called? Transition.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So that made it real easy, because you could, when you fill that out, because you could just read that off the card and put it in there, and then there was some duplication with the chroma and the color, and that's stuff it repeated, but that repeated some of the information in the discussion in the discussion only.
Mhm. And now, since the form has so much more specifics in it,
Mhm. Easier.
that takes care of a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this has all those categories broken out on the form, those translate right into it. So I need to look up what the discussion is. It might be, I'll check that and get that corrected.
See, there really, on this new form, there is no discussion paragraph as it existed before,
Yeah,
unless I'm missing something.
yeah. The only place I see discussion is right here, your discussion.
So it's kind of a new what discussion is kind of a new concept.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like-
I'll look that up and clarify it. So, because definitely the sediment inclusions is everything else that is not architectural or stone. So. The transition description. Transition is, yeah, just this line right here, 31. So I can correct that. That one. Just type what is on the line. That one's pretty straightforward and easy. So. And that, yeah, this discussion, the interpretation is combine the excavator, your interpretation, with object interpretation, separate by a semicolon. And hopefully there's no semicolons used in the text of that. All right, cool.
Matt, one more question, please.
Yeah.
So, what we had been doing previously on the other cards, if there is no information, there's no bag, we will put none, or in some things, values of 0, like if there's, for the screening, if there's no shovel activity, we put 0. So you would prefer to have something in each field as we previously had?
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good.
Okay.
Mhm. And yeah, 0 is, none is better than 0.
Okay, because we can be consistent. I know the other forms, I think we did combinations, something that may have a numerical value, we would put a 0, like,
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean.
like there's no datum, there's no number or something like that, rather than, was there any bags done? No, there were none, no bags. So you see, there was that slight.
Yeah, because like in this case with metal, there's nothing here, that really should be a 0. That one should be a 0. You're
Okay,
right.
so for any of the bag number things now, you would want number zeros there rather than none, or do you want to make it one by one?
Yeah, I think for that one, either one would be fine because this is a text field. So if it's 0 or none, it's not going to make any difference. It'll be understandable. But
Okay.
for the for this one right here, the for the fines, if there's nothing there, that should be a 0. Yeah, because that's actual data rather than not having anything in there. So I'll add that in there. Let's see.
Saying, Matt, is if it is a text field, you would rather the word none be in there. Right?
Yeah, except in the case where it's a numeric value.
All right.
Yeah.
That's more of a general note, I would guess, Matt, more so than, you know,
What's that, Tony?
what you're typing in as far as either using the word none or 0 for numerical values is more of a general note for all of these, right?
Yeah, well, it is, except for in fines, where that definitely should be 0 because it is data. Like the none being listed, like having it be 0, and also with this one, I think what you'll find. Oh, this thing keeps popping down. Let's see. Let me go to this form right here. When you look at these right here, like glass, you can't type in none. You can type in a 0 and it's happy. So, you know, under arc like grit, if there's none listed, you can put 0 and it's going to be fine, or you can put none and it'll be fine, or you could put none listed and it'll be happy. So either way is going to work. It's going to be fine. It's just with the numeric values, you're going to be forced to put a 0 because you can't type anything in there. So for the others, you know, 0, none, or none listed, any of those work. So it's and I can't see the value in any of those. If we want to make it consistent, we can always go back and change that with a calculate command in GIS.
Matt, can you go back up a little bit where it says additional photos taken?
Yeah,
What do we put in there?
that one is, if you look at photographs right here, is just what's listed on this line, number 41.
Okay, so we're not putting in like any pictures that we noted. We're not putting any file names in there. It's just whatever's on this line.
It's just whatever on the line. Yeah. Where you put the file names is under, at the very end, you'll see the opening photo. And that would just be one file name you put there, which is the opening photo.
Okay.
Matt, can you go back to where you showed glass? The glass had a drop down. Can you have more than one type of glass of it? Can you select more than one type of glass then?
Oh, this is that a numeric value?
I know, but I was wondering why that was the only one that had that little up and down thing. Oh, I see.
Yeah, just when you're on it, it has.
Oh, what does it do? Nothing?
It's a little ticker. You can do it like that if you want.
I thought maybe it's subdivided by flat glass or green glass.
Oh, no.
Okay, because I didn't see the other one, so sorry.
Yeah. It's just another way to enter it. I think
Okay.
if you use your up key or down key, it'll change it.
Gotcha.
But it's probably going to be easier just to enter 56 rather than click up 56 times. So.
Okay, thank you.
may I ask a question following up on number 41 that Beth was talking about? In the example that you used for the guide, number 41, it says photographs opening, and then over to the right, it says taken from the south. Would you put all of that information in that line?
Yeah, it would be
See, yeah. see,
anything that's listed on that line, just anything. Oh, I see over here.
From the south,
Oh, yeah.
put all that in.
That's a good point.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wonder if they're, all of these, I would hope it's always going to be from one direction. You could say, you could either type in taken from the south or put a dash and an S. What do you all think?
I like taken from.
I do too. It's
Okay,
more
yeah.
specific.
So 41 additional photos taken. Type what is on the line and then add the text taken from and list the direction circled on the form. Cool. We'll go ahead and go with that.
And that space will allow us to put all that in there.
Oh, good question.
That's a good question there, Tony. Let's see. Let's see. Opening taken from the south. Looks like it does, yeah.
Okay.
And Tony is asking how much room. Looks like this has a lot of room can be put in this line. Yeah, there's 200, probably 255 characters on that one.
Okay.
So we copy the
Verbatim.
we copy the name of the picture like we've been doing in the past, copy and paste, and then
That's-
put in the additional stuff.
Well, that's down here under opening photo. That's where at the very bottom, this is where you put in, copy and paste the name of the unit form. And then under opening photo, copy and paste the name of the opening photo.
Well, what if don't you do the same thing for additional photographs or pictures?
We don't have anything like that on the form.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it just.
So just copy
these-
whatever they've got on the form.
Yeah, that's different than what's on the form. Yeah, because when we did the form, we had no idea we'd be digitizing all this stuff and have digital photos that we'd add to a GIS form. So this stuff, unit form, opening photo, and plan view map, these are all things that aren't on the form, but they're on the Google Drive from which you all relabeled. So that's where this like number, let's see, additional photos taken, that's straight from the form right there, but there's nothing on the form for the actual photo name. And that's why I have this on the bottom of the form right here. I put this way on the bottom.
But that one example you just showed on your guide says opening photo. So we'll have a picture of the opening photo. So do we list that twice? Now, would you put in the opening photo down on that opening photo blank, and then you still go back up and list?
Oh my God, let me see.
Yeah, I was talking about not the verbiage, but on the form that you had the highlighted notes on.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, that's just what's on the form. It says opening.
I know, but it says opening. So you've got that in two different places, right? In other words, you just type in opening photo from the south, and then
Yeah.
you still have to put the opening photo from your files.
Mhm, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
And this, whatever is written out here, you'll just type in, because sometimes it'll say opening and closing, it's, usually it's just going to be opening photo listed right there, like under photographs. Oh, cool. Well, I guess like anything else. Oh,
Yeah, I got just a couple general questions.
Okay.
Matt. The IMLS Google docs that we go into to get into all this.
mhm.
So the guide will always be there underneath that name of what we're looking for. In other words, we don't have to keep going back and forth. All the information will be right there in the Google Docs that we need.
Yeah, this guide, let me see if I have it in this one. Fence line grotto. Yeah, unit renaming after April 2007. Yeah, I've got this as this is a shortcut, and I've got this one under IMLS restoration guide for entering unit stratum. Where is it? It's somewhere.
So that's been very helpful for me over a period of time because I'm not consistently working on these. So when I go into one, I've got everything I need except
Yeah.
for the map. 'Cause
Yeah.
the map, you got to go through a different software, I guess, to get to the map.
Yeah, for that one, like for the fence line grotto, yeah, I guess I don't know how I could put a URL in the Google Drive, but under unit renaming, that's under the map location is oops, that's record renaming. Oh, let's see.
So just in my small world, I go to two different, bookmarks. So I have
Yeah.
a bookmark
Yeah,
for the map,
I'll make a copy of this one. I'll put a link in for this one into each one of these so you can find
Okay,
it.
that'd be
I'll put a
cool.
link in there. Let me add a note to that. Add link.
Then the other general note I had or question was, we used to be putting our initials beside each one as we were working on it, whether it was relabeling or digitizing. So we still do that.
Yeah, you can go ahead and put that in the notes in the Google in this guy right here. Under digitize notes, you can put your initials right in here, just like you're doing under relabel.
Okay, so but we don't put it any longer under the form, under the IMOS. We used to be putting our initials beside each.
Oh, yeah, when you're doing the digitizing.
Yeah, we still tag the folder.
Yeah, still tag the folder, like when you go into it, because it might take you a couple of days to do one. If there's a lot, you'd put in progress MBR like that.
Okay,
That
so
way
we still tag it. That was the word I was looking for.
you still tag it, yeah, like that. And that way everybody knows that I'm working on this and don't start on it, because it'd get confusing otherwise. And then when you move it to completed, then what you can do is once it's all done, is in here, you can go in and rename and take your initials off it because it'll be all done. So, and I'm going to move this guy back. And it's back there right now. So yeah. And Pat, did you have a question? Oh, it looks like Pat froze. Okay. If she had a question, it's frozen in time. So, well, cool. Probably the best method for all this is to begin for talking with I'm going to be doing trying to figure out a way to get more people involved in this, and I was going to do a call, do an invite meet and send out a MailChimp invite to everybody for this, and probably do the actual Zoom discussion sometime after the races, but before Thanksgiving, and get people started. Now, I'm going to try to keep that one pretty simple and not get into all the details, because it can be pretty overwhelming when 95% of the records are pretty straightforward. It's the 5% that make you want to rip your hair out. And getting into that 5% when you're introducing this to people just would freak them out. But that's where the collective comes in handy, like the, the Scrum collective where, or the Slack collective where you all can answer questions when new people come on board. Yeah, gonna try to keep it basic, and then we can do, once people get started, can do some Zoom sessions where people can ask questions that have kind of accumulated. So this is what I'll do right now is I'm going to get the discussion and soil type thing figured out, and I'll Slack you on that one and change it in the guide, and then you all can get started and just see what other questions come up, and what other inconsistencies there might be that are in this new form. And I expect there's going to be, because it's inevitable. So, but yeah, this should be good. Looking forward to this. So I appreciate you all hanging in there. You all have been a great team to get all this stuff done. It's absolutely wonderful. So how have you all found Slack? I mean, for interacting, do you all every time you do digitizing, do you use Slack or check on it, and just kind of, if you have a question, that seems how you're using it.
I find it very useful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
great.
it's a good way to keep up on, keep in touch, not only keep in touch with people, but to, so who's doing what, but just to, to see where things are going. Matt, you're always putting information, what's next, that kind of thing is very useful. Clarifying points, questions. I sometimes have questions, or I often have questions that get answered that way, and that's very useful.
Yeah, I've found some time-saving replies to other people's questions. It kept me from going down the same narrow path. Yeah, it's really helpful.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I agree. And I've got it set up so that I get notified on my email. Of course, if I look at my Slack, it tells me I've got a note, just like on an app. But yet you still get notified on your email, and it's very helpful. I agree, Matt. And you're timely on getting back to all the questions and all. So I agree 100%. It's useful for me.
Yeah, it's nice to search. You can search across all of the different Slacks. And so if there's something that I don't know, try that first before bothering you, so oftentimes you'll get the answer, sometimes not. But
yeah, it's like a helpline. They have the search function for all the old help questions, so that is handy.
It's good. It's good. So it's very helpful, and I think it makes it easier to send our problem ones to you through Slack, because then we know, you understand that we do have a problem, so we're not going to deal with it.
And it makes, and the having the different categories for relabel versus digitize, and then general, those are pretty clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
And it's like Dean said, it's good just to keep up with each other too on things that are going on. So it's a very good team oriented, program.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I know it's helpful for me because, like, to have that be in an email, oh my goodness, that would get lost. It's nice, like, because I'll carve some time out of each day just to look in it and be like, oh, if there's like 5 days that go by and I don't see any Slack questions, I'll go and check the volunteer hours, and I'll be like, oh, I see people are doing data entry. They must be doing well then. They don't have any questions. So, and yeah, if for some reason I miss a Slack message for whatever reason, just shoot me an email and I'll get back to you on Slack. If for some reason I fell off of there, I'm going to be at the end of this week on Friday. I'm going down to Florida for a week to help my wife's parents get their place set up for the season. And but then I'll be back in about a week, but I'm going to be checking things when I'm down there. So
yeah, I'll be just south of you.
Oh, where are you going to be, Tony?
Down at Ormond Beach, which is just right above Daytona.
Okay, yeah, that's you're not far at all.
Right.
Cool.
See, we can't escape each other.
No, well, if you want to come up and see rural Florida. I'll send you my address because that's like about 45 minutes away. It's on the other side of the Ocala National Forest.
Yeah, we're actually flying into Jacksonville and then, driving back down to that area. So.
All right, cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Trails, y'all. Yeah, our weather's just starting to get decent. It's nice out now. Yeah, most days.
Nice. That's what I was hoping for. So
Come on down.
I'm just afraid what I'm going to find in that old RV when we get down there, have it be full of palmetto bugs.
Oh, yeah.
We got a dehumidifier in there, and I'm hoping that stayed on the whole time. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Peggy, you have to have you drive up and check it about a month out.
Oh, hey, I'd do that.
That would be amazing if you wanted to. That'd be great. You could hang out at the lake.
Just for the trip, that would be fun.
All right. Well, thanks you all for keeping up with this. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'm going to immediately get on this discussion and answer those questions. And but if anything else comes up, so it looks like you all could get if let's see, the fence line south has just a few units in it, so may as well finish up relabeling those, and then you could jump into fence line grotto and digitize those, and then after that's done, go to fence line south, and then we'll get some repetitions, reps going with this and see what else comes up.
Okay. So that's the order you want to work in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then what I'll do is as these get finished, oh goodness, as these get finished, I will update the guide. So this one, let's see. Oh gosh, I'm messing this up. There, that's the order right there. Is fence line south ready for digitizing, fence line grotto ready for digitizing, fence line south almost done with relabeling and then can be digitized. And then front yard, we'll get to that one after these two are done.
Sounds like a plan.
And in the meantime, I'll get Dolly's midden loaded. So, all right, you all. Well, good seeing you all and good talking to you all.
Yep.
And
Good seeing everybody.
I'll send a note in Slack. Bye, you
Take
all.
care.
Okay, bye, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good to see you.
Good seeing you all.